Whoop. I got a buddy here with me. Little Cocoa Beans. Check her out. Look. She hopped up here with me. I just popped her in the head. So, welcome to your unique devotion. Today, me and my helper, we're going to read John. Get my thoughts straight here. John chapter 1, verses 19 through 28. Then I have a question for you. So this is entitled A Voice in the Wilderness. Listening ears, all right, let's get started. Now this is the testimony of John. When the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Christ." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." Then they said to him, "Who are you? That we may give an answer to those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, 'Make straight the way of the Lord.' As the prophet Isaiah said. Now those who were sent were from the Pharisees. And they asked him, saying, "Why then do you baptize if you are not the Christ, nor Elijah, nor the prophet?" John answered them, saying, "I baptize with water, but there stands one among you whom you do not know. It is he who, coming after me, is preferred before me, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to loose." These things were done in Bethabara, beyond the Jordan, where John was baptizing. So, it's kind of fun. John doesn't answer them and say, "Oh, I'm John the Baptist." He doesn't even say, "Oh, I'm John." He doesn't give a description of background, what he does or, doesn't do for a living, so to speak. He just says, "I am," and then quotes scripture. So in sharing time, 3 words make up this question. Who are you? On a deeper level, you are not your gender. You are not your job. You are not your hobbies or the things that you do. You are not your surroundings. You are not anything physically seen, felt, or touched by our human faculties. So who are you? These things sort of are more on an emotional end, like feeling out the soul of who you are. When you start there, then you can expand. And you can say, well, I know who I am, and because of who I am, this is what I should be doing, and this is where I should be going. So you start creating the world around you, maybe changing some of the things that are going on in your life. So how do you go about learning who you are? This is tough because you have to be able to face facts. You have to be able to face the truth. Okay, let's talk about me and my journey. I can't look at Brandon and say, based on how I feel or what I think I am, because what I am ends up, I'm going to use a weird word, it manifests itself into my world around me. If I say that I'm a loving person, but the world around me is in utter chaos, and the people around me I treat horribly, then I'm not a loving person. But if I am a loving person, then the world around me is going to be of a more loving nature, because that means that every person that I come across, I'm being loving to, more often than not, is going to reverberate that love back. And therefore, my world around me will look like love. I'll use this as an example. That's a little bit like out there slightly. I consider myself a Christian, close to God, that I've always tried to follow in what He tells me to do. But one day I evaluated my life and I said, that's how I feel I am, that's what I think that I am, but what do I actually do in life? So I mapped out everything that I do on a regular basis. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There are variations throughout the year, but the majority of it is habit-based, and therefore I could say that 52 weeks out of the year, this is generally what I do. What I was finding really was, there's some short prayers here and there, like at dinner time and stuff. Go to church relatively every Sunday. But church on Sunday is an hour. Prayer time is a minute. So I was spending, just rounding, an hour and 1 minute of my week in communication with God. So who I thought I was really was completely far off. What I needed to do was evaluate it, like I did, and say, I do not value God like I think I do. That hurt a little bit. It messed with my brain. But once I faced the reality that I'm only spending an hour and 1 minute, well, what can I do to change that? Because I want to be what's in my mind. I want to be in communication with God. I want Him to be the overseer of my life, that we're working together to sustain me and to shine His glory at the same time. So I started doing this. I started doing devotions, spending more time this way. This forced me to carry my writing, the questions that I say to you guys, I carry that with me throughout the day. And I come back to that scripture. And in those moments, I'm physically reading it. But then throughout the day when I'm just bored or, even when I'm just normally doing my normal stuff, I try to force myself, which is now much easier, it comes almost just like that, to rethink about the scripture that I'm looking at. Now, I'm in communication with God. Sleep is hard to throw into that, but minus 8 hours, I'm in communication with God 16 hours a day. I'm sure there's some form of mental communication going on in my sleep, but we're not going to count that. 16 hours is a far cry from 1 hour and 1 minute. And therein lies an example of who we think we are versus reality. What we actually do on a regular basis is who we truly are, because what we think in our hearts manifests itself on the outside. Now, I could go through many more examples of that, because looking at that one thing then changed my entire life, because I saw that the more that I communicated with God and the deeper my communication and trust in Him became, the more my life has changed dramatically. So I'm like, well, God, if that works there, if the communication with you works there, well, let me communicate with you in other aspects of my life, my family life, my social life, my financial life, my healthy living, diet and exercise life. Let me communicate with you in all that at the same time. Let me put you in the mix. I want you to be in that mix. And man, my life has been totally turned upside down. All because I asked 3 simple questions. 3 simple words in one question. Who am I? Now you expand that. Who am I really? And you need to expand that further for yourself. But I feel a rambling session coming on. I'm not going to do that. That is a very wonderful example. If you have any other questions or want to look a little deeper at that, hopefully as subscribers keep growing, email me. It's down in the description below. We'll contact. Leave comments down in the comments box. We'll work through it. It's difficult. It's not easy. It's not meant to be easy. That's why this video is so long. We're given an entire lifetime to do the "who am I?" question and keep continuing to build deeper and keep continuing to grow deeper in God's communication with us. On that note, I hope that God gives you all the blessings you deserve today, and even more so, all the blessings you don't deserve. Have a wonderful day.